Hello, friends. Happy to get to spend a little bit of time with you today. Wanted to briefly talk to you about a upcoming deadline for our students here in many of my classes. The deadline is for what I refer to as Project One. Now, for many of you that remember, and for some of you that don't, uh, in my class, there's usually three things that I set up at the start of the semester. The first thing that I say is, look through the syllabus. I don't want there to be any surprises. I want you to understand what my grading is going to be like, what the big assignments are, when the deadlines are, exams, quizzes, all sorts of things like that. The second thing that we talk about is a degree plan, and this is still very important to me throughout the year. And people, it's a 120-hour degree. It's a bachelor's degree, and no matter what the department is on campus, of that 120 hours, usually it's a 3-hour class. So that means you've got 40 pieces to shuffle around and get figured out. And what I want everybody to do at the start of every one of my classes is you go through and you look at your transcript and make sure, okay, this transcript, does it make sense? Is there anything weird on there that I don't recognize? Did any of my faculty do something stupid like in a class I was supposed to get an A, I ended up with a W? Or was there anything weird where I was supposed to get a W, but instead I got an F? Like, is there anything that we need to get taken care of? The second thing that I ask you to do is go track down your course plan. And so, the 120 hours, actually get that in writing and say what those 120 hours need to be. Usually it's going to be comp one, comp two, speech, things like that. After you've got those two things, I ask you, and if you can't get a course plan, maybe what you want to get is a degree check or something like that. And again, a degree check is a great idea if you've got any transfer hours from any other institution or AP credit. So get that checked on. Degree check is also a good idea if you've ever had to change majors or even change options within the same major. And then of course the third case is if you've just done everything the same, been at one school your whole life, but you hit that magical 60-hour mark. At that point, you want to go ahead and file for a degree check. And I just do a search for SWOSU degree check, and I do the bachelor's degree check, put in the name and the information, and it takes a little bit of time. We give Anita does all those for computer science, and so sometimes she gets a backlog because you have idiot faculty like me that say, "Hey, this is an assignment. This is due this week. I need you to apply for it this week." And then guess what? Anita's got 60 some applications for a degree check that she needs to fill out, and can't get 60 done in a day magically. So anyway, that's my fault, partially, but it's because we do actually have a person that goes through and looks at your degree and looks at your transcript and says, here's what you have credit for. And the best part is the same person for computer science that does the degree check it's the same person that does the graduation check. And so if their degree check says you should graduate, your graduation check is going to say that it's going to graduate. That is my understanding of the system, and I've seen that system work very, very well. Okay, so the third part is this kind of dream job project. And the idea, friends, is once you've got figured out how you're going to make it through my class, which I know I'm a little crazy, so it's a lot. The next part is make sure that you're going to make it through your degree, because the degree, sometimes you get an advisor like me that says like, I trust you to make good choices. I'm going to look at it with you as best as I can. And at the end of the day, I still admit I might make a mistake. So once we've got that nailed, the third part is now, where are you going with your career? And I don't mean this to be a panic button moment. What I mean this to be is, let's take a little bit of time and let's think about, in an ideal situation, what is a position or a appointment or something like that that you would like to have after you get done with what you're doing here at SWOSU. And so the idea is, if you want to go to graduate school, well, find me a graduate school program that you're excited about. If you want to go get a job working in the city, what's the job in the city you want to go apply for? If you want to go be a surfboard instructor, show me job posting for surfboard instructors, or show me other companies. If you want to be an entrepreneur, show me other companies that are doing what it is you want to do. But the idea is, Basically, just like with our degree plan and our transcript, where they're kind of a matched pair, your resume and your dream job are kind of a matched pair. And what we need to do in this class, or as a part of this class, is start working on a project that helps you bridge that gap between where you currently are and where you want to go be. And so let me go ahead and share my screen, and we'll share screen 4. I think this will work. There we go. So I've got a few other monitors, got a few things on it. This is discrete structures, but I have the same assignment in all of my classes. And here's project 1. Now, I want to say kudos to my good friend Tiffany Thiessen. Tiffany came in and helped us rework this. So this is part 1 of the project document, and part 2 is kind of a placeholder, so there's no surprises at the end of the semester. You should only do part 1 at this time. Please upload a document to address the written requirements. You'll post your document here in a discussion page. Now, there's a reason why in all of my classes these are discussion. It's because I want you to make a verbal commitment or a written commitment in front of your peers that says, this is what I want to work on. Now, the idea is that your peers can then look at that, and if there's a project that they're working on that's similar to what you're working on, maybe they'll approach you and say, hey, why don't we start a Discord channel related to this? Why don't we start to try to build a network related to this? Why don't we see if Everett will help us bring in guest speakers? As it turns out, I just learned this week, if you want to do a web conference call and you want to bring in 300 of your friends to talk to you about a subject, my personal Zoom license that SWOSU pays for me to have here, I can host 300 people on a Zoom call. So if you want to get crazy and get stupid, let's go, right? I'm your guy. So here it is. Semester project. The point of the 2-part project helps students planning, organizing, develop their skills to see continuous improvements from the start of the semester to the end. And that's what this is about. If you just wait until your senior year to say you need something on your resume is going to stink. If you wait until your senior year to think about what you want on a letter of recommendation and you don't do anything outside of just go to classes and do homework, you might have missed out on good opportunities. So part 1 is this should be a well thought out plan on the project you will work on throughout the semester. You'll research, plan for success, and discuss your project, including your goals, predictions, expectations for the project. You also track your progress through snapshots of your code, notes, and any other means you believe will help you collect relevant information as you work on your project. The idea is, how many times are you willing to write down in your notebook, I got slammed this week and didn't get time to work on anything? If you're able to just eke out an hour a week, you're going to make progress every week. If you are able to eke out an hour a day, you're going to have some great activity and you're going to see some great progress. I know, James Stein, he's one of my heroes up at Oklahoma State University. He was on my master's thesis committee. Great human being. He once said to me, if you can set aside an hour a day to work on something, you're going to get that something done, because an hour a day, your body's going to get used to it, your brain's going to get used to it, and you're going to be successful no matter what it is. And I really appreciate James saying that to me. And I want you to feel the same way. I want you to know, I believe you are capable of absolutely anything that you can put an hour a day into. Okay, so a title. Take some time and write down a title for what you think would be cool. Make it catchy. Make it interesting. I do have a note that says write this last. We'll talk about the order that you want to do these things in a little bit. For now, I'll just go down the laundry list. So an abstract. It says, how would you pitch the project in 30 seconds or less? Describe your project in a short paragraph. And so it's a little bit more writing than its title. And it says write this 6th. Okay, introduction. Now, this is a long abstract. This is kind of like, okay, I got your attention with the 30-second pitch. Now let's start talking about something a little more in detail. Let's start answering some of those questions, putting a little bit more shape to this design. Include some of the high points from your discussion, and you write this 5th. Okay, now research or project choice. This first part, I appreciate my friend Tiffany leaving that in there. That's actually a biblical quote. It's from the Old Testament. It's or I forget what it's, the Torah, I guess, in other religions. This is from the book of Ecclesiastes, and the basic concept is we've been doing a lot of these things for a long time, and you're not going to come up with necessarily a brand new idea that nobody's ever thought of before. It's not to say that you're not going to have a different approach to it, but the general idea is until you've actually really embraced a lot of what else has been said on the topic, it's going to be difficult for people to take you seriously. So find out what others have done, published in similar areas. It can be anything from a vlog to a book. What are some possible projects you could do based off of what you found? And what could you build? Is this going to be a game, a character, timers, dice? But this should be something that kind of interests you. And this should be something that kind of like helps provide support and helps provide a little bit of guidance to what it is you want to do. And this is the part should be done first. This is the part where you should start out with I use Google Docs a lot. So go out, write a Google Doc, start a Google Doc, and then just start brainstorming, right? Use those headers and heading 1, heading 2, whatever. Start grouping like ideas together. And there are some ideas that are going to be like, yes, I've got to go do this right now. And you'll actually get distracted by going and starting it. And there are going to be other things that are obviously related to this. And you're like, yeah, I get that that's part of this, but I just can't be bothered to care. Now, this is the part you start to flesh out first. After you've got this and you're kind of starting to understand what's been written about it, maybe you found a good guide, you're ready to go get started, slow down. Make a plan first, right? Because this is supposed to be a semester-long project, not a weekend sprint. You have an idea, you know what others have done, how will you make this project happen? You'll have, okay, I didn't catch this when I was designing it. Of course, you'll use Java to build it. That's written for a CS1 student. And if I'm honest, even for a CS1 student, no, you don't have to use Java. But in general, we teach Java as an introductory programming class. And the joke I always make is if you learn with Java, anything else you go to after that's going to be great. If you learn with Python, I can't make the same guarantee. And so that's why I push a lot of my students to learn Java first. It's kind of like after that trial by fire, the rest of life is pretty easy. So when are you going to work on this? Is it going to be twice a week? Is it going to be every day? How will you continue to build and rebuild and make it better? I want to see your process. How will you track it? And now this is something that I want to put in right now that I didn't actually occur to me before the pandemic really kicked off. When you start to make this part of your plan, it would really mean a lot to me if you would slow down, go into your calendar, and if you're planning on having a schedule that says Tuesdays at 4:00, I'm going to invest in building up, whatever this project is, put a reoccurring calendar item in your calendar so your phone rings at you and says, hey, you need to go do this. All right. I'm just realizing that I don't have my phone on me and I have no idea where it went. So that's a little bit terrifying for me. Anyway, wow, talk about getting sidetracked. Yes, you put the reoccurring calendar items in there because you will get sidetracked and you will have things that come up and you will have things that steal your attention away and make your blood pressure rise and make you think that you're, not capable of doing these things. So that's why you make a plan. And I would say, go ahead and use your tools, use your technology to help you stick to that plan. And when you have your time scheduled to work on that plan, schedule, tell your people, hey, I'm going to be falling off of Discord. I'm going to be falling off of Facebook. I'm going to be not answering my cell phone at that time. That way you really can get dedicated to your project to help you become what you want to be for your resume and for your future career. Now, after you've got a plan, I want you to write a discussion. And this is what expectations are you setting for yourself in the project? Do you have any goals? What predictions do you have about the process of building your project? So the idea here is that you've made a plan. It's going to be awesome. Tuesdays at 4, I'm always going to do this. In your discussion, you could say, but I also predict that if I get another job where I'm actually getting paid 20 hours a week to go and do this thing, that this project is going to go completely by the wayside. And that's fair. I think it's fair to be very upfront in your project planning that says this could absolutely go sideways. Okay. After you get your discussion written, now it's a time to kind of take a step back and spend a little bit time reflecting on all of this, reviewing all of this. Now, in your conclusion, you're going to sum up your project, your goals, expectations, and this is going to be rather short. This is going to be more like a page at most. Why is this important to you? What makes it fun? How is this exciting? What's going to keep it interesting? Why is this valuable to you? Why is it valuable to others? So after you've got your discussion done, this is what you're going to do next. Now, after you write your conclusion, then you're going to circle back and you're going to write your introduction. And again, an introduction is basically laying out the idea and really trying to sell people with a little bit of detail. And this is a chance for you to kind of pare back everything else you've had and try to get it into a few paragraphs. And then after you get that, I want you to, again, circle back through this idea, come back and write the abstract and say, okay, how can I get this down to a single paragraph, right? How can I really get this? And then finally, the last thing you do is you take that last paragraph and you say, what's the key sentence? What's the key idea? What's the one thing that I really got to get out of this? So that's the concept of Project 2, friends. Now, this is going up as a discussion. And again, with a lot of the things that I'm doing, I'm going to make a kind of a do bonus points on this assignment, if I may, for people that put it up on Discord. I feel like Discord's a lot more of a permanent display of our work. And so I'm a huge fan of that, as opposed to things more like just putting it on Canvas and letting your classmates see it. And even worse is what I used to do with these, which is you submit it in Canvas and the only people that see it are me and the grader. And sometimes the grader sees it and I get behind on grants and things. All right, friends, hopefully that helps you understand a little bit more about Project 2. Now, here's a few more details. Outline for your code and your tracking. So this is how you're going to set up a tracking system that kind of keeps track of what it is you're doing and how you're marking your milestones. And then also it kind of highlights the pain points or what you think is going to be a problem. And this is where you're going to tell your story through notes, kind of through your plan where you're laying out your milestones. Finally, your code. If you've got something that's like a hello world to get started, and so if you're doing a problem in SQL, the equivalent in SQL, if you're going to be working on some other training, like this is your introduction video to what you're going to be teaching folks. So the idea is this should all go together. Okay, so the next part is part 2, and this is more going to be at the end of the semester, and we're not going to talk about that right now. I'm sorry. Whoops. So anyway, friends, that is the project discussion for Project 1 this semester. Where this fits in the overall course. Remember, we had at the start of the semester your transcript for what you've already done and your degree check or course plan for where you need to be, and then kind of an Excel spreadsheet that says, this is how I'm going to take care of what I'm missing. You should also have your resume and your dream job paper from the first of the semester. And this project is a way that you're going to make a map on how you're going to develop a skill to help be competitive for your dream job. Well, friends, that's what I've got for you today. Hopefully that's all very meaningful and beneficial. Hopefully this is one of those projects. I'm not going to light you on fire for it if you don't do a good job. And the reason I say that is I know it's above and it's beyond. It's not what typically is expected in the university experience, but I do want you to take your own lives seriously. I do want you to take your own career seriously. And I promise you that I do my best to help you in every class that I have, as do many faculty here at SWOSU, to help you be successful in your degree and successful in your career. But I will remind you, at the end of the day, if you don't learn in a class, that's on you. If you're not prepared to enter the workforce, that's on you. And we do what we can, But at the end of the day, please own the fact that this is your life and the rest of us are here to help you as much as we can. But you're the one that gets to make the decisions on how these things are going to happen. Friends, I appreciate you. I'm excited for you. I hope you have a lot of fun. Like I said, I'm here to do what I can to help, but I'm very thankful I get to be a part of your story. Let me know what I can do. Hit me on Discord, email, catch me on Zoom. I'll catch y'all later, friends. Thank you and take care. Bye.